Okay, there we go. Alyssa,
What's up?
I was just looking at some of your old race results, which had me looking at my old race results. And this is a show about you, Alyssa, but I was shocked to find out that I ran a 5K 7 minutes faster than my last 5K back in 2014, and it made me sad.
So you just ran the 5K, this one faster than 2014?
No. I was 7 minutes faster. 10
Oh,
years
back
ago.
then. Okay, I got you. Yes. That's
Like it was like
that's
7:18 pace. I'm not touching that pace.
yeah.
I mean, I could if I lost 10 pounds and trained with a coach for a year,
Sure.
maybe, or 6 months.
It's like, hey, you put up that time, and that's what matters, you know.
I guess. I mean, at the time I was 42 years old, and I was like, "This is amazing! I'm in the best shape of my life." Right?
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive for a 42-year-old man with no running background, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, own that.
But yeah, I brought you on because I had such a great call with Faye, and I was thinking about all the old stuff, and I started looking at your results, and I kind of forgot that like you did do Deca and High Rocks when they first came around. You jumped right in.
I did, yeah.
You won a Deca Fit.
Only one and won that one, and I never did another one again. It was hard. I think just at that time, my race career was just kind of tapering off anyways. My last race was that November, and I just didn't see, I don't know, it just wasn't like exciting to me to like go and try to do the Deca Worlds, and I don't know, it just didn't financially really make sense. So yeah, and it was super hard. I was like, I don't know. That's a really short, fast pace, and I don't love that as much as like the longer, more grindy stuff. So there was that too.
Well, to my very untrained mind, you know, I talked to Corinna, who we were just talking about, Faye.
Yeah.
Those first early High Rocks that you guys all showed up to. It was like all OCR athletes. And I was like, hey, you won. Shouldn't you now do this new thing? And she's like, Matt, I am not going to train to do this. This is so much different and harder than the training I've been doing for obstacle racing. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So do you consider yourself a retired athlete? What do you?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, we're going on year 3 now, I think.
Year 3 now. So,
since I like my last official race. So,
when you did that first of all, Athlinks used to be the greatest, and it actually does have all the High Rocks races, but it doesn't have any more. So I don't know how it stopped doing that, but let me bring you back up here, Alyssa Hawley, and we're clearly here to talk about some of the heyday stuff too. But you know how I do it, so we just go where we
love it. Yeah, I missed it.
So the first time you were on this program was, hold on a minute. Let's find this article. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. Ready? On today's show, we talk with Spartan Race Pro team member Alyssa Hawley. At the time we chatted, she had just won the first race in the U.S. Championship Series in Seattle. She has since finished third at the Monterey Super, which keeps her tied for the lead in the series. Enjoy this talk where we learn a lot more about her. So that was 2017?
2017, yeah.
Open? Is that what that was?
Yeah, that was like one of the best years of my whole life. It's so good. Seriously. It's so great. Everything about that year. Man.
So tell me, I'm going to pull up a picture here. This is very exciting. This makes me nostalgic. Hang on. Let's pull this back up. How old are you now, Alyssa?
I will be 35 in 2 months. Wow.
Right? Look at that.
Yeah, 8 years ago. Or was that 8 years ago now? Yeah.
So there's you and
Wild.
Ken. There's you and Atkins.
Who did not want to stand with me up there, clearly.
Why do you think that is?
No, it just looks like because his arm's in front, you know? And like usually you have your arm around the next person. it's just it's just funny. Like I nothing against Atkins. It's just funny. That's
so
just how it looks.
Hobie is actually number 2. So Hobie's still racing.
Oh wow, yep, yeah, I remember that from that video they did. They also that was the year they did. They came NBC came and did like that video, or the NBC. You know what I'm talking about? The series they were doing.
Of course.
Yeah, and that was that year too. Yeah, Hobie is still racing. That's crazy.
So Hobie's second,
Killian
third, Nicole third for the women.
Yeah,
and then it looks like Beatrice and Rhea are either 4th or 5th, and then Kent and Faye are either 4th or 5th.
Oh my gosh! Wow, what a great group of people up there.
Wow, we didn't know how good.
Dude, we didn't. God damn! What a time.
So, 2017 is the best. By the way, hair's amazing. Hair's on point.
Thanks.
Short hair. It looks great.
Yeah.
I have slightly less hair than I had in 2017.
Just a little bit. It's okay. I couldn't tell unless you did that. So.
Right. You know, I mean, there's so many bald dudes. So I'm
that's right.
I don't even remember what your physical fitness background was prior to Spartan.
I played a lot of sports growing up, but I played college softball, and that was pretty much it. And then I just started working out on my own after I graduated and started doing my own thing. And I was living in New York and found a Groupon for Spartan race at the Met Stadium, and that's how I got started. Yeah,
a Groupon. Let's
go. I know. Do those even still exist? We were just talking about that last night. I was like, I don't even know if those are still around.
They may not still exist. I have to show you this. So I just installed a printer for the first time, I think, in a decade.
Wow.
You just don't print anything anymore.
Nope.
And I'm doing a thing for taxes, and my kid's trying to go to college. And I was like, fuck, honey, we have to buy a printer. I didn't know where the paper went. I was like, is it below? Is it behind? That's so stupid. Fucking printer.
Crazy times.
Anyway, so you saw Groupon. Did you go with friends or not go with friends?
No, it was just me. I literally went by myself. I had a party with a bunch of friends that night, and I was like, I just went and did this really crazy race in this state. They were like, what are you talking about? You went through the Met Stadium and did this the locker rooms. I was like, yeah, it was wild. It was so much fun. And so yeah, that was it. And then I moved back home right after that, and I did the Portland Spartan race, the outdoor one, with my dad. And then from there, we were hooked.
So City Field Spartan,
yep.
2015. Did you win the open race? It says first.
I might have gotten first for the girl. I don't remember that. I remember just looking at my results, and I was like, wow, I actually did a lot better than I'd thought.
Yeah, you ran open, and you were the first woman.
Yeah, that might sound right. Yeah.
And then it says you ran the Priest Lake Marathon. Is that what a marathon? It says marathon.
It was a half. It was a half. Yeah.
1:46. Nice job. Then Snohomish was the super, and you ran elite, and you won.
Yes, because I got disqualified from the Portland race, and then I was really pissed off about that. And then I just had a huge training run, and then I went out and I won the Seattle race. Yeah.
Why? I have to hear this. Why were you DQ'd? Why were you caught in the wash of Spartan famous DQs for no reason?
I know. So I was racing elite. That was my first elite race. It was actually an NBC race, and I remember seeing cameras and rows and all that. And I'd never done an outdoor one, and I don't know for sure, but I don't know that the Herc-Hoist was in the stadium race. And so I dropped the bag. Yes, I didn't. And I just ran off because I didn't know anything. And I guess somebody had told me that I had to do burpees, and I don't remember hearing any of that. And so yeah, I think I actually placed 13th or 15th or something like that. But yeah, it did not count. So I was so mad at myself for just not knowing the rules and or hearing them and going back and doing my burpees or whatever. So I just that lit a fire under me to go and win the Seattle one.
So the Seattle one, this is so fun to do. I used to do this all the time.
I love it.
I never had to remember.
Yep.
Jack Bauer memorizes all this stuff, but I can't do that.
Oh yeah.
I'm older. And I'm just not good with that stuff.
Yeah, I've never been good with the numbers.
All results. Let's see who you beat. Okay, so on the guy side, Kent, Chad Trammell, John Howell, and Hosick was fourth. And then you, let's see.
I don't know if there were a lot of pro girls there.
Who cares? You took the win. It wasn't big names. It was Sarah Knight, Michelle Kinney, Christina Armstrong.
Yeah, Sarah Knight, yeah. Which ended up being great because I was on the podium with Kent, and I, to this day, will credit Kent with my, like, he talked me into essentially going down to the next one, Sacramento. He was like, you should go down, like, do some more races, and then if you get really fit, you should go to SoCal because all the pros, like, you know, they won't be as fit as they will be later in the year, and you could really make like a big impact in your racing and stuff. And yeah, he talked me into going and doing all that.
So you go down to the Sacramento Super, and you're second behind. Do you remember who? Yeah,
it was Mary. I just saw her on the other day. Mary Colburn. I think she beat me both days. I think I got second both days, if I'm not mistaken.
So, when did I guess Spartan start to take notice of you?
So did the Sacramento races. Ken talked me down to going into SoCal. I trained super hard for that. It was Temecula, and it was just this epic race where I was like, Rose had been leading the whole race. I was just like chugging away, and we get to the rig at the last. I didn't even know where I was in the race. Like, it's just one of the best memories to this day. I didn't even know where I was. I get on the rig. Rose had gotten on the rig right before me. I get on the rig and I did it faster and I won. And they were like, you won. And I literally had no idea. Like, I was just so in my zone of my race. And from that race, going out and beating Rose like that, then they were like, hey, we've been noticing you, like, you know, at Sacramento at this race. And that's, after that, they asked me to be on the pro team.
So because I get these confused. I know you had I feel like you had a couple big races at Seattle, but there was one I think you finished third, but it was still a big deal because it was big names and like. But then there's one you won where I think you famously like fist pumped over the fire.
That was the 2017 one. Yeah, that was the 2017 one. This was 2016 when I got asked to be on the pro team, and I did okay like for the next couple of races. I'm trying to think of like any big ones that happened in 2016. I think.
Well, I'll go look in a minute because I remember memory, but I remember watching the TV show, and you had a shirt that said "Stop Faye."
Yeah,
stop that was awesome. I thought you were the coolest person, Alyssa, in the world. Because honestly, now everybody's a lot more vocal. Back in the day, a lot more afraid of Spartan. So you had Hunter who talk some shit. This is before even Aaron, who talked a lot of shit, and I just thought this was a cool thing. You are so cool. Please come on the show. And it's funny because, like, you know, Faye is like, you know, she would probably laugh too because it's like, but you were like, I want to beat this chick.
Yeah, I did for sure. I just felt like she was. I didn't really know much about Lindsay quite yet at the time. I feel like, but yeah, Faye. I just felt like she was somebody who A, would think it was also kind of funny, but B, someone I felt like I wanted to be. Like, she to me was like the name, the up and coming name, like I wanted to be.
And so did you beat, was that the one you did beat her? I have to pull
this. Yeah, that was the 2017 race when I won it, which is just, I think, extra.
So she was saying you were kind of known for kind of coming out of nowhere. Is that how you remember it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So were you just, I'm going to stop this. So were you just better at everything like heavy, even though there were many heavy things, carries and the hoist? And that's what she's doing.
So yeah, like back in the day, you know, compared to now, and I don't want to like, you know, diss on the races now, but they did make the sandbags and the carries and the things like that, like brutally heavy. You know, Palmerton. Yes. Palmerton was famous for like double sandbags, you know, that were like, we would have to drop them multiple times because they were so heavy. And also that was like, the races were still so new that, you know, like a lot of these runners like Faye and Lindsay and stuff like that really struggled on the obstacles, where I had more of a strength background and loved the strength aspect to where I could excel at those. So while they're just running away, maybe having to do burpees and stuff, as I'm just chipping away by being faster at the obstacles and not having to get stuck on those burpees, plus, being just faster at the heavy carries and stuff. So, by the end of the race where that gauntlet style came around, maybe they're ahead of me, but I was able to just blow through it. So yeah, and that changed a lot later on, and you'll see my results will show for that.
Well, because they made the races got standardized. I'm making air quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
One of just got better. I don't want to discredit that either. Like, Faye and Lindsay worked super hard on all the obstacles, and they did get better at them over time too. So,
everybody famously says it was better in my day. But I do think that was an element that a lot of us did like was, is this super going to be 7 miles or 9, right?
Yeah.
Or, the extra amount of bushwhacking, or which I think they still do pretty good with, or like you said, a double sandbag carry. I mean, we had I don't know if you're old enough to remember memorization tests. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I had one in Hawaii. That was the only one I ever had to do. Yeah.
Right. So there was
in Greece. I did one in Greece. Yeah, that was wild.
Right. So for those that don't, why don't you tell people what the memorization test is actually?
Well, so they had this, like, you're running around wherever. It could have been wherever through the race, usually about mid-race, and they had this whole board. And I remember I don't remember what it was in Hawaii, but in Greece, they were symbols. And so you had to, like, later on, like right before we entered the last, like, gauntlet, they had this board of symbols, and you had to, like, pick which ones were yours. I think Hawaii was words. But yeah, like, so the whole race, you're just like, okay, this is whatever it was, like, symbol, and you had to remember it.
756 was like the regular ones. I remember Greece being symbols because I remember talking to Albin about it the first year, and Albin was like, it was like army man spear.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Yep, that was so crazy.
So one of my favorites was in Mississippi. We had it, which is like Mississippi was like a 2 and done venue, and you see it, and so then you just start repeating it, right?
Yeah.
You start while you're running. Kilo Juniper 796. Kilo. You just keep saying it, and then like somebody else comes behind you and they're saying theirs. You're like, shut up! I don't want to run my hair. So we get all the way to the end, and a guy's like, right before the final, whatever, and he goes, "Okay, give me 30 burpees." And I was like, "What do you mean? You haven't even asked me my thing yet?" He's like, "I don't care. Just do 30 burpees." And so it was a big fucking with everybody. It didn't matter. Burpees was the last obstacle, basically. So
I see.
So anyway, stuff like that I do kind of miss.
Yeah.
But I understand as a product, you want to roll this out, as Joe always says, like, we want 70 cities and 30 countries. Like, you want to do that, then you do need to make some sort of like, hey, let's go with 5K and 10K, and here's the obstacles you're gonna face.
Yeah, which makes sense. But like you said, like, I do miss it, and I do feel like those were kind of the glory days. I was actually just talking with some of my group training clients that I do, and I was like, we should, because I did a long time ago, back in like 2019, we all did, a bunch of us went over, did the Seattle Spartan Sprint over there. And then I was like, we should do it again. Like, it's been a long time. Let's get some people, motivated to do something. And we were talking, I actually put one of the races up on the TV and stuff. And they're like, so you have to do like burpees if you miss an obstacle? And I was like, well, not anymore. You pretty much just like run penalties, So it's just stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, I kind of miss that. That was gnarly.
So apparently burpees are back for some of the obstacles.
I wouldn't know. I did one with a client, and maybe there were some of them. I just remember there being all penalty loops, though. But I'm pretty out of the loop.
Yeah, so they went slowly, gradually from some to all penalty loops, and now they're going back.
Now, okay, gotcha.
So it was just the spear is burpees, which I almost kind of like as like a kind of an old vestige of the past.
Yeah,
because everyone hates the fucking spear throw because it's so But now I think they all are.
Bring back the burpees.
But the other thing that I remember that I think was, I don't know, you tell me, I think it was kind of a big deal that you like came out, and like we didn't really have that in our sport.
It was really scary.
So do you
it was really scary.
Like them asking you about it on camera, or did you bring it up, or was it kind of those things that like we know but we don't want to ask her? Like, do you remember what that was like? Because again, nowadays people have to remember, like, no, it wasn't the fucking 70s, but it's still just like wasn't 2025. It wasn't as you pick, people being out and proud, and
Yeah. It wasn't as big of a deal. And Spartan, it was a lot of a community that also appealed to like, some military people and stuff like that. And nothing against that. It's just like typically that comes with, in my experience, more of like a, right-wing mindset, which is fine. So yeah, like there was kind of that where I was like, I don't know how this community is going to take it because it's so new and all that. And at first I truly didn't have, like I remember posting Chelsea on my social media, and I didn't really think anything of it. I was just like, oh, like this is a person that I'm with. And, I didn't really say a whole lot about it. And then someone close to me, like said, I don't think this is a good idea for your career, like your athletic career. I don't think you should essentially come out. And that made me really question that when I didn't at first, and then I remember because of that, pretty much, it made me a little bit scared. And because of that, when Ian and NBC team came to do that video with me, the whole, I don't know what you call it, like the whatever show they aired, Ian Dempsey from NBC.
Sorry, Ian Dempsey. I knew there was.
Yeah.
Just so people aren't thinking Ian Hosick, the athlete.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Ian Dempsey. He was the producer of the NBC. Like they did the 5 race series, athlete, whatever, and did an athlete for each one.
Was the name of the company, right?
I don't remember.
Doesn't matter.
I don't remember. But anyways, so yeah, he came and did that. We did the whole thing, right? And then I went to a race. I think it was Monterey was the next race, and he was like, "Hey, something's missing from your video, and I think it's this side of you with Chelsea, and I do feel like you should kind of." Say that part of your life and essentially come out. And so I ended up doing a piece with him there, and I'm glad I did. But it was something I didn't really think anything of at first, and I was like, maybe rethink it. And then I'm glad I did at the end. But yeah, so it was a big deal for sure. Yeah, for me, anyways.
Did you receive any negative? Like, I don't know, angry DMs or anything?
Yeah.
You don't have to call anybody out. I'm
not going to. It was just like,
when you stop recording, you can tell me, but.
No. It was just like, I also, was portrayed myself like as a Christian and things. And at that time, like that was all a big part of my athlete brand.
The double whammy, Christian and gay. Oh my God.
So, yep. So I had not a lot, but quite a handful of Christian people coming at me and saying I was going to go to hell and stuff like that.
You're more afraid of aggro military guys than the Christian community, which, sorry, can be extremely judgmental. That.
I was so naive to all of that at the time, because in my mind, I was just like, well, I don't know. I didn't think anything now, obviously, like in hindsight, that's all like, oh man, like, of course. But yeah, like I was literally just so naive. That's the only thing I can say about it, is like, I didn't think it was weird at all. I think I was just so like in my own little bubble with my faith for so long that I did not have that, like, that outside view of all of it. And that is when it all came crashing down for me. So that really messed me up in a lot of ways. Yeah.
When you say crashing down, like we're laughing about it now, but like, did you go through like some like dark times? You're like, fuck, this really sucks. And like, were you afraid to talk to people at races, or like, what was that? Because you've always been, you've kind of been to the beat of your own drum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just in general, you weren't massive on social media. You weren't, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's good or bad. You just like,
no, I agree.
Lindsay and Nicole post quite frequently, and Amelia, and you just weren't one of those people. So
right.
Did you feel like kind of needing to make yourself smaller at races or in person, or?
Yeah, I think Chelsea and I call that the dark times now, because I did go through a really just like, what do I even like believe? Like, what am I doing? Like, just all sorts of stuff. Like personal things, right? But that obviously affected, I feel like, me at races, and how I came off to people, and I just it definitely made me a lot more I think, I don't know, just cautious, I guess is the word I could say. I didn't feel like I could be myself quite as much. I mean, I had to work through that period, and I think eventually I got through that and was able to be myself again. But I really, because I was questioning it so much, I just didn't feel like I could really, or even know who I was, or like, be kind of that old self that I was for a little while. But Or through it. It's fine, but it was hard for a little while. Yeah.
Did you have any blowback from, like, I don't know, sponsors, or do you think it hurt you
No.
in that department?
No, and I do want to say, like, I feel like the majority of everybody and everything was really cool about it. I just let those handful of comments just like shake me to my core. But again, like everybody else, the whole Spartan community, for the majority of it all, was really cool. I mean, you're always going to get a handful of backlash, which is what it is. It's fine. But yeah, like I do feel like the majority of everything was positive. So I will say that it's just I couldn't get over that. Yeah, sorry. Chelsea is so invested.
If he wants.
No, she's leaving.
I totally get it. I can get a comment or a DM that's so negative, and if I'm in a really good space, I can honestly laugh. I can show it to my wife.
Yeah,
like, this is hilarious.
Yep, for
and
sure.
if I'm not, I can be like, why is this bothering me so much? And then like days later, like, why do I care what this person thinks? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I totally get it.
Yeah. So I mean, it definitely helped me all grow as a person, right, and find who I am and all that. So it is what it is now. But yeah, it definitely changed things a little bit.
So if I look through your, I don't want to go through every race, but I'm going through this Athlinks. It's a bunch of firsts, right? Some seconds, some thirds, some fourths, all the way through.
A lot of fourths too.
Yeah, there are a fair amount of fourths. All the way through 2018. And then, you won the Iceland Sprint in 2018. Is that the one I was at? Was that the first Iceland year?
No, it wasn't the first one. I think it was the second, maybe third. Yeah.
I feel like I would have seen you at that because wasn't. Yeah. But you finished 5th in Tahoe that year. Was that your best Tahoe finish?
No, I finished 3rd at Tahoe in 2017. I'm telling you, that was my best year ever.
Were you rolling in the dough, bro?
Dude, it was, like I had some really good sponsorships that year. Yeah, I took 3rd in Tahoe. That was the first time I also traveled, I think, internationally for races. I went to Mexico and Greece that year as well.
It was like, hey, let's fly you around, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that was like, the first, because 2016, it was like, okay, you're going to meet up with these people and, here's your flight and all that stuff. And then 2017, it was more of like, yep, just here you go. tell us where you're going.
And do you remember, you also won the Lake Tahoe Fit CEO Challenge, which I'm guessing was the next day.
Oh my God. Was that the team race? That was I think it was Robert Killian and, that was in 2017. It's Robert Killian and, oh my gosh, who was the other guy I was with? I feel so bad now. There was 2 guys and a girl, and we were Team USA. That was the only year they did it that way, I'm pretty sure. Because I think next year it was like 3 females.
I'm trying to
find I did it with Nicole and...
There's like 3 different links here. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, none of them work. I was trying to see who else is on the teams.
Gosh, that's killing me. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ryan Woods. It was Ryan Woods.
Nice.
And I remember, like, that was the most, like, just worn out I've ever been in my whole life. And I remember, like, I didn't get any sleep that night. I was so tired. And Robert Killian was just pushing me from my butt uphill because, like, it just helped me go faster. And it truly helped, like, a lot. But, like, it was truly, like, a team effort. Like, they were literally pushing me up the hill to win this race. It was wild.
Well, this is weird because I'm clicking on the race and it's not working. Like I look up you and then I go to this race and then so apparently Athlinks is finally starting to fail us.
I guess. Yeah, that was wild.
I just want to see. Well, you know what? I have a webpage. Hang on. I do have a webpage where I keep track of every world championship because I thought it would be good to have that.
Yeah, I love it.
17, it was Lindsay and then Susanna and Alyssa. So basically you got beat by the best 2 athletes in the world in a 5-year period. Like it was Lindsay, Susanna, 1st and 2nd in 15 and 16, and then Lindsay, Susanna the other way, 17, and then in 18th it was Lindsay, Rebecca, Susanna. So yeah, so basically you got beat by the two best women. So that's a pretty good performance.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, third was like just I was over the moon for that. That was insane. I could not believe it. Another race where I came in and like just that was the one where Faye was on the Herc hoist and I had beat her out for that last one, and I didn't even know I'd got third. Like my best races are where I just have no idea what's going on. Apparently,
probably mad.
I mean, that was probably tough.
And do you remember like who even were the sponsors back then? Was it Fit Aid?
So, the major I don't remember the major sponsors. Mine were I had Fit 4, which was those gloves, and then I had Alsa Energy, and then I had Ascent, I think, right after that. I don't know if that was 2017, but for sure 18. I don't remember the major sponsors, though.
I liked Ascent. Killian, shout out Killian, introduced me to those guys, and he gave me some money. So shout out Ascent and some delicious protein. So
yeah, I still actually will use it. I'm not obviously sponsored by them anymore, but that is still the only thing I'll buy. I love it. Seriously, it is one that is seriously stuck.
So I type in Fit 4, the first thing that comes up is Amazon. Do they not have a regular site anymore?
They should. I don't know. I just get it at Costco now.
Wait, no, you do. Yeah, they got 41,000 followers. Oh no, the last post was 2022, dude. I don't think they're around.
Really?
Yeah. The last post was November 2022.
I still am buying it, so I don't know. That's weird.
When I go to their website, I get a womp womp error 1001.
Shut up.
Resolution error.
Oh, that's too bad. Maybe that's why it's been on Amazon and Costco, because they're just like,
listen, man.
Don't break my heart like that. That's so sad.
This is part of getting older, Alyssa.
Oh.
Listen, I just found out my friend from now I can't remember. Brute Force bags went out of business.
Oh no, yeah, I remember them.
And now we just lost those guys. Yeah, it's very, very sad. If I go to my podcast with you and like I see who sponsored me, I'm like, oh man, I wish those guys were still around.
Totally. That's too bad.
Hang on, let's see who sponsored. This will be fun. Let's see who sponsored our interview in 2017.
Oh my gosh.
Alyssa. Hang on. 2017. Today's episode. Wetsuit Warehouse. They're still around. They were a sponsor forever, so we love them. And then Utter Mud Run, which is not around anymore. So R.I.P.
Wow.
Not too bad.
Wow. What about? I could go down a whole rabbit hole with this. Never mind. It's fine. We don't need to worry about that. Well, was it like Mud Gear, like a huge one? Like I feel like everyone was wearing Mud Gear.
So Mud Gear is still around. And
okay.
Probably wearing Mud Gear right now. As a matter of fact, I am. I'm wearing a Spartan / Mud Gear sock, and nice. So I think they're still combined. Like you can get it at the merch tent.
Gotcha.
Did you not look at the merch tent when you went in the other day? When you went in to your last?
Not really. I don't think so. I mean, you have to walk through it, but I think I was probably late or something like that. I don't know.
Did you get recognized?
A couple people, not a lot though. I think mostly like local people was what it was, like local Spokane people. I don't remember.
And you did a triathlon last year, right?
I did half Ironman, in September. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about that. Well, so you're not retired. Come on, man. You still have to race it.
Well, I'm not racing like competitively. That was just something I wanted to cross off the list. I mean, I still want to cross off a full off the list, but I'm not like I wasn't trying to like go and win it by any means. So I'm just doing things for fun now. That's what I'm saying.
Were you swimming in the icy waters to get prepared?
No, because it was in a river and I knew like it was in Tri-Cities, which I've been to a lot. And I knew it wasn't going to be like that cold. And I was going to have a wetsuit and stuff. But that was a big reason I wanted to do, and I still want to do the full, but a big reason I wanted to do it was because I'm terrified of the water. and the swimming part was a huge deal for me to conquer, and I did train really hard for it, and so I'm very proud of that. But yeah, it's very scary for me.
So we were talking about, you did do those first couple Deca and High Rocks, and I think you won a High Rocks too, didn't you? Or were you third?
I won actually. I won a good handful of High Rocks when they first came out. So 2019, I went and did New York. That was my first one, and I won that one. And I definitely podiumed at a couple more. I took third in Chicago at the national series. It was it wasn't the Worlds.
Was it an invitational?
I don't remember if that was the invitational, or it was I swear it was their national, U.S. national race. I don't remember, but.
Can you see this? Are you looking at it at a big screen or a phone? What are you looking at?
No, my phone. Sorry, so my face is really close to the screen there. Chicago. Oh yeah, I did the team race 20. That was my 22. That was my last race. Yep, Vegas.
So, high result is the Athlinks of High Rocks.
Okay.
And
I never heard of that. Nice.
Wait a minute, you did a relay with Scott and Kate Longley?
I did. Yeah, it was a 4-person relay. Which
dude, they're my buddies.
Dude, I love them.
I've raced with Scott, and Kate films me all the time. How did you get hooked up with them? Shout out Longley family. I love those guys.
Okay, we're gonna bring this full circle right now. So remember we were talking about me coming out?
Yes.
I was having a really hard time in Chicago. I was crying on the stairs because I was just so upset, frustrated. And Kate Longley walks up to me. She was like, "Hey, you're Alyssa, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Everything okay?" And I literally just talked to her about it. And she just helped me so much, just talk through it, and just made me able to just function the next day, during my race. And so we've been friends ever since. And I love them. I wish they would adopt me. They're the best.
This is so cool. So occasionally I will post "Hey, can someone help me with social media or hold a camera?" And she's like, "I'm a photographer. I would love to help you." They had been fans of the podcast. Yeah. She came to help me, and then I, like you, fell in love with that family. I actually raced with their whole family last year in Chicago for an OCR. Scott and I have done a few relays together. Scott's fucking fit as fuck, dude. He's but let's quickly go through this. New York women, you win. Okay. Chicago 2020, second. So I was there. I think that's the one. I think that's the one that I keep calling her Corinna. That Faye won, and she needed a fucking bucket. And I will shame her forever.
Yes, yeah, she didn't need a bucket.
I used a bucket myself. And then,
oh man,
Dallas 2021, you were fifth. London, you won. Oh, sorry, London.
No.
Los Angeles first. Chicago. By the way, this was when High Rocks was paying money too. You got money every time, right?
I have one hanging in my garage that I just saw. I won $1,500 for New York.
Let's go. Let's
go.
And then your last race before the relay was third in Chicago. So even your last race, you were on the podium, and you're just like, "I'm done."
No, not my very last one. Was I on the podium for my last race?
It says Megan, Vivian, Alyssa for High Rocks Pro Chicago, which I was probably also at.
No. Wait, was I? I don't remember. I just remember being like, "I'm done with this." I was on the podium? Oh my gosh. That is so wild. I don't remember that being my last race, but maybe it was. Maybe, yeah, I could have, whatever. So I guess that's right.
I mean, Megan beat you by a lot, if that helps. You weren't close. She was 101.56.
Oh, you're right. Yes, because that's when I think, did she just start coming on the scene then and doing crazy good?
Yeah, we were like, "Who is this chick?" Yeah.
Yes.
Vivian was second, 6 minutes behind. You were third, another 4 minutes behind.
Okay, that makes sense because I think, I was just like, I just can't train for this anymore. I'm just not there. Yeah, I was ready to be done. Yeah. And what's funny is the times that I was even posting back then that were putting me in first and third and all that, I don't even think they would put me in the top 20 now. I mean, those girls are so fast. And I was just like, I don't want to try to keep up with that. I want to have a life. So literally, that's where I was at. I was done.
I think you and Faye, she's basically the same way.
Yeah.
even before she had a kid, she's just like, I don't want to switch my whole I want to go for runs in the park. I don't want to push heavy shit.
Yeah, that was a lot. And because I trained so hard for Las Vegas that year, and I still took fifth, and I was so mad. And I felt like at that point I just did everything I could, and I just didn't enjoy it, like I was like, if I'm not enjoying like putting this much work into my training, like I have, like, cause I know that I have in the past, and to do all of that work. And I was like, I'm not like, I can't take it to that next level of like needing to like quit my job and put all my work into training and all that. Like, I just didn't want to do that. And that's how I felt like I needed to do to get even better.
Okay. Am I remembering this wrong? But did I try to talk to you maybe after you came in fifth and you were like, I don't want to talk to you? Is that possible?
Oh, likely. Yeah. I was not happy at all. Like even, yeah. And I apologize. I'm not the best person to probably talk to after races I don't do well, but yeah.
No, dude, I get it. It's like, I know all you guys, and you and I are best buddies, but I do know you well enough that I'm not just like some reporter sticking a microphone in your face. I'm like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And I'm like, I remember we laugh about this all the time. One time, Faye, I don't know, I think it was Utah or something in 2019, and I was like, I was trying to get interviews, and I was like, Faye, come over here. How did you do? And she's like, fifth. And I go, fifth? Like, I was just so shocked that she was, because I thought she was on the podium, and she was like, fuck you. And she walked away. And it took 6 months for me to get back into her good graces because she thought I was like, but we laugh about it now. Yeah.
Oh God, that's so funny. And I will say, like, too, what did I take in Vegas? Like fifth or something like that? I thought I took less than that. I thought I took like eighth in that world championship in Vegas. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's really good, right? Compared to all the ladies there, like I was in the elite, whatever, 13 or whatever it was. I don't remember.
Listen, you got beat by Chris, who won the world championship. Linda, who's in the elite 15 now. Miriam, who used to be
15, elite 15.
Then, and Alondra, who was also really great back then. So there's no Meg, and Lauren was pregnant. So but still, right. You should be happy with fifth place in the world.
And I should be, but like at that point, I wanted to just win it. I felt like I put so much into my training, and that wasn't good enough for me. And I don't want to like discredit like taking fifth at all, because it was good. But it just wasn't good enough for me at the time with, the work that I had felt like I put in. So
what can you talk about? What kind of like training were you doing, like as opposed to say the OCR stuff you were doing in the previous decade or whatever?
Oh my gosh, just so much like running to heavy sleds. It was just all in the gym, every single thing, which is great because I own a gym, right? And I'm there all the time, and it was awesome. But like High Rocks is.
I thought you were a farmer.
No, I was working construction for a while, but no.
Your dad, right?
Those, yeah. That built some character for sure. No, now I'm in a nice, comfy gym all day, every day, and so it was a lot of that, and which is stuff I liked doing. But like High Rocks is so hard, and I'm not saying Spartan isn't. It's just different, and the training that it took to get to that level and High Rocks was just not fun for me. I was just constantly doing like my paces had to be on, my, the weights of the sled, and like everything had to be calculated. And like, I loved training for Spartan, where I would just go in the mountains and I would just grab a rock and run around with it, or like just practice on, like, it was just so different training. And again, I loved, and I do still love training and like for High Rocks and that kind of style of training is what I'm trying to say. But it just took so much of the joy out of it, having to be like so calculated and so dialed in. I just didn't, it just took its toll on me. So
I'm going to ask you a very generic question that I hope you can answer. If someone is training for High Rocks, right, just a regular person, they're not elite, they're trying to win their age group. They're just like, hey, I'm already a runner and I'm in the gym now 3 or 4 days a week. How many miles would you say they should run a week?
If they're already a runner?
I mean,
kind of. Well, it's funny you ask, because I'm actually doing a High Rocks in March with my sister. She asked me to do a doubles with her, and I've always wanted to do doubles. So of course I said yes.
Is it your twin sister, Alyssa Hawley?
No, no, it's the third of us girls, Riley. She,
Is there a Alyssa Hawley?
That's my stepmom.
I just thought it was so funny. Melissa and Alyssa. I just made that up, but okay.
Yeah, no, I do have a stepmom named Melissa, yes. Yeah, so Riley, the third girl, she asked me to do it with her. So I'm training her, and she has an athletic background, and she, I think, did a couple races, like just road races last year, shorter ones. But yeah, I'm just like, as I'm programming for her, I'm like, this is hard for just like the average person. Like, I do feel like there needs to be a good chunk of training, whereas like a lot of people could go out and do a 5K and have to maybe walk a little bit here and there, right? Whereas High Rocks, I mean, there's so many things that go into it. Like even just having her just work on the skill of doing a wall ball, which you don't really think about unless you've never done one. But back to your question about having to run, I like for her right now, I mean, it's only what, 5 miles for like the whole race. So I'm having her do a long run of like, 5 to 6. And then we're doing like some compromised and stuff runs. So she's really not running a whole lot right now, but it depends on people's schedules too. I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting away from the question. I mean, if you're just an average person, I don't think you need to run 30 miles a week. No, listen, I think that's too much.
I spoke to someone who shall remain nameless, who just told me 50. And I was like, 50 is what I ran when I was training for fucking ultras.
I would never even run 50 for that. I wouldn't do that right now to go into a High Rocks. No way. I mean, just to run it and finish it? No way.
Yeah, I agree. So
like 20, right. Maybe.
We're right. That's all.
Let's say 20.
Yeah, exactly. I
but yeah, if you're an elite, sure, why not? I don't know. Like a lot of it is running.
What was I gonna say? Yeah. So, this is what I say comparing it to OCR. Like you can slow jog a Spartan sprint and like fall off an obstacle. Whoops, keep going. You can't slow jog that sled push. You can't slow jog those wall balls. You've got to get done, and that's the difference. There is like we used to say, just run an obstacle race. Oh, I'm not fit. I'm not whatever. I'm just trying to lose weight. Just go. The difference between a fast person, an in shape person, and an out of shape person is time. You'll do it a little bit slower. Not the case with High Rocks. Like it's not a little bit slower. It's you're going to be at those wall balls forever.
Yeah, and just the sheer volume of it. Yeah, the sheer volume of work you have to do. Like as a coach, I'm like, man, if you're untrained going into that, like, injury is something I would really worry about.
That's why I do think, and they say they never will, but I think they will one day. I do think they need to introduce like the half rocks, like either half the reps, half the running, or both. Because, right?
Yeah, like a DECA. That's exactly what they said, I feel like.
But even DECA,
don't get me wrong, DECA is hard. Like it is fast. But it is, a bit shorter than the High Rocks. It's not quite as heavy.
Great Northwest, you still wouldn't do it?
What, a High Rocks or a DECA?
A DECA Fit.
DECA Fit, I would be more apt to go and train for again, for sure. I think that seems more doable. It sounds weird to say because I know I said I like the grindier stuff, but with where I'm at and how much I want to train for, I think DECA sounds more appealing.
Well, High Rocks still hasn't hit the Northwest, and it's hit a
Tell me about it. I have to go down to Houston to go and race this race.
Dude, I live in Atlanta, which is, the 7th biggest city in America, the hub of the South, and we finally get one in April. This is like year 6.
Oh, that's your first one? Are you serious?
In Atlanta, yeah. Can you believe that?
What? That's crazy. That actually blows my mind.
Meanwhile, they've been at Dallas and Houston like 12 times, and I'm like,
like a couple times a year. That is nuts. I'm actually shocked to hear that.
Sorry, Houston listeners, but who the fuck is in Houston?
All my family moved down to Houston, so now they're all down there now, except for Riley, the one I'm going down there with. But yeah, everybody else is down there, so it'll be a win-win to see the fam and all. But still, it's like that's there are none close to me. Was the point? It's all south.
So your daily regimen now is you're just coaching folks and just enjoying your life?
I mean, I'm working out every day and I'm still like, doing things like I did Ironman and, done some fun stuff like racing, like fun running things I wanted to check off my list. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I'm still working out every day. Now I'm going to do High Rocks, I guess. But it's just mostly for fun.
Yeah, there's definitely a theme talking to you and just talking to Faye is like, you don't have that like intense elite athlete pressure. Like you guys are both just like, yeah, cool, man. This is fun. It's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice thing. And again, like competition is great. And I still talk to elite athletes all the time, but like, there's definitely like, you're a different person.
Yeah.
As I suppose you should be than 5 years ago. Right.
Yeah.
Or even when we talked a couple years ago, when I talked to you last in 22, you were still a high rocks athlete ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just, tapering off around then. Yeah. Fall of 22 was my last race. But yeah, I didn't realize, I think, like how much, I mean, I knew it did, but at the same time, like training was everything, it was like all I thought about. And it really even like bled into like my work and things like that. It's like, I wasn't really able to 100% focus on, being a coach and being there for others. And also like, we get to just travel for fun now too. Like I don't have to like go and travel and be like, okay, well I got to do this race and then we can go and have fun, like we're going to really cool places and traveling for fun. And that's really a nice change of pace as well. And I'm just grateful for Spartan and High Rocks and the career that I've had. And I'm just able to be like, that was awesome and that was fun and I loved it. And now I'm just in this like, other piece where I can kind of do other things that I didn't get to do at the time either. So
all right, tell people where they can find your gym if you'd like to find your gym.
So we're in Spokane. If you're coming from the west, we're just right off the freeway right before you get into Spokane. And then, I'm just here chilling.
You have to say what it's called in like an Instagram.
Oh, it's Anytime Fitness. I'm sorry. Duh. Sorry, like assuming. So we are a franchise gym, but like we, run this one and we have actually a couple different gyms, but that's where I'm at. And I'm not on the social medias anymore. So that's it. You got to come see me in person.